Welcome again, and thank you for joining us once again, ladies and gentlemen, on the Inside Out Effect podcast. I am your host, as usual, Stephen Jakes, co-founder of the Inside Out Effect podcast, and also healingthemind.co.uk. So today, this is episode 55. 55, mate?
55.
Yeah, 45 more to 100. And today, we'll be
I can count.
Yeah, you can count.
I can count. Yeah, I did. I'm dyslexic, not dyscalculus. I can count.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, well, that's good. It's good to know.
Yeah, I can't count very high, but I can count. That's 100. I can count 100. That's about it. Yeah.
And today's topic actually is quite significant. It's something I've been working on over the last few weeks, which is the real meaning of self-love, self-respect, and how people-pleasing really does give us a false sense of purpose and a false sense of happiness. And there's a lot of it going on in the world. So today I thought we would talk about this topic in a bit more detail, because we can all fall into the trap of obviously doing so much for other people and actually neglecting ourselves. And I thought it was a really good topic to talk about tonight.
Yes.
As usual, we have the most stupidest thing I've experienced this week. I want to say I've experienced this week, but which is stupid.
Yeah, I know.
It's bloody stupid. It's funny as well, and I felt sorry for the guy. But anyway, but before we start the actual podcast itself, I would like to introduce my co-host, the creator of the DTO system, also the co-founder of the Inside Out Effect with myself. He's also the author of the book, the Decoding Pain, the Emotional Blueprint to Healing Chronic Pain, which I say every week, and well as the DTO Handbook. So I do have the awesome and amazing author and the lovely and the curly and the bearded, sexy. No, I have the awesome Jonathan Shaw. Yeah, hello, yeah. So hi, John.
Hey, mate.
How you doing? Yeah, I've actually not seen you much in the last few weeks. Actually.
No, you've been busy.
You know why?
You've been really busy, haven't you?
I've been really well. If you
in
want to call
a different way.
In a different
way, you've been busy.
But you've also, your lady's been back. So every time your lady comes back from Portugal, you
don't see
become
very
a
much.
Scarlet Pimpernel.
Well, they seek him here, they seek him there. They seek him everywhere.
Well, apart from I did come up and see you a couple of Wednesdays
to finish off your shoulder.
Treating the rest of my shoulder.
Yeah.
Pretty much completely gone now. So.
That's good. Well, that's part of your clearing as well.
Yeah, which I've done a lot of.
You've done a lot of clearing. You've been hermiting away.
I have hermited away.
You've been like a little badger badgering away in your little hole.
I have.
Clearing yourself.
I have, yeah. Well, I mean, this didn't come up for me before Christmas, and it opened up so much to me that I wasn't aware of. And it's revealed a lot of key programs. Like, we have these programs that are instilled into us unconsciously through our childhood, from our mother and our father. And you don't realize actually that it's those things that create the experiences you have in your life. And one of the things that I had in my life that was running was every time I achieve anything or get anything, it gets taken away.
Yeah.
And that's consistent throughout my whole life. Hence is why I've had so much stuff to work with for you over the years. And I was fortunate enough to have this experience where I became aware of that experience. And so I basically it was a 7.5 hour session with only a little break in between. And I managed to find that program, switch it all off. So now going forward, anything in the future, I won't have the unconscious behaviors and beliefs that will now create that experience to happen again. So going forward now, whatever I create in the future I should not lose. But and there's been some other things as well associated to it with trust and trusting yourself and other things. So I have actually been really through the mill. Yeah. For the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's been really physically painful to do. It's been emotionally devastating, but I just carried on plowing through, and I've managed to clear all of it so far. I've got one more thing to do, but I need a break from it because I've actually been really hammering it hard. I've been really hitting it hard, but I'm back down the gym as well. So on top of that, plus going to the gym 4 nights a week as well, that's sort of taken its toll on me a little bit. And but before I came on here, I was actually getting pre-podcast jitters. I was like,
we haven't been here for a few weeks, have we?
A month.
It's more than a month.
Yeah,
it's more than a month now. Month and a half, nearly 2 months, isn't it?
Where are we? We're February the 20th. I think the last one was January the 16th. I think so.
Was it? Just over a month. That's not quite as long as it.
Yeah. So I have been beefing away, but I've been a bit of a hermit. I basically for the last 3 weeks pretty much much decided to have a complete media blackout. I mean, I did finish my latest track that I made, which was Luminescence, which I posted. And but other than that, I've not actually gone on to Facebook at all. I've not posted anything. I've not gone on Telegram. I've not watched any media. I've watched a bit of YouTube, but I haven't actually done anything. I've just decided to, do you know what? I need to sort these things out that's going on for me, and I've just decided to just hermit myself a little bit and really worked my ass off to sort out what was needed to be sorted out, as well as working with clients as well, because I always have my clients coming in as well. So, which is like I said last week, this is the quietest I've been for a while, but now I know why I've been quiet. It's because I've needed time to do these 3 or 4 things, and so it's been a really, I've got to tell you, it's been a really strange 3 weeks for me, to be quite honest. What I've been through, but yeah, it's all really, really good. What about yourself? So how have you been? What have you been up to? And do you want to share?
I've been doing quite a few things. I've had a massive influx of clients, which is fantastic. But something I have been working on, which I actually keep forgetting to tell you about, which is now live, which is the DTO Academy is now live.
Good,
online.
Brilliant.
So that's a way where you can learn DTO online.
Yes.
And it's free to sign up. So you can sign up for free, and you can get access to the first 2 trainings are free, which is a 7-day introductory DTO training. And also as an introductory training into decoding illness and disease to understand the models that we use. So that's free. You can sign up for free and just have access to those 2 programs. Later on, there'll be other programs coming out, which obviously we pay for programs, but you don't have to do that. You can just do the basic free ones. But that's great, because I really want to teach people all around the world.
Yes.
And I'm sending my clients in there now as well. And, I had a client from the Philippines recommended to me, and we cleared something with her mum, and all of a sudden her shoulder pain went. She went, "My shoulder pain's gone."
Yeah.
Is that normal? I was like, I know. That's exactly what he said. I was like, that's the point, because it was a burden. Her actual language was, "It's weighing on me. It's weighing down on me." I was like, "Well, that's your language. Yeah. That's what was in there." And she was like, "Oh wow." She was like, she couldn't comprehend the fact that we weren't trying to clear her shoulder pain. I didn't even know she had shoulder pain, because that's not what she hired me to do. Yeah. Ironically, even though I treat pain, we were treating something else, and her shoulder pain just went as a byproduct or as a side effect of doing DTO. So with DTO, as you know, there's always positive side effects to it instead of the negative.
Yes, very much.
You get things change and heal that you weren't necessarily working on. Things vanish that you weren't necessarily doing, but they just make your life better. So she was kind of blown away by that. And, I've red pilled a little bit on the virus and everything.
Good.
And
I've red pilled
a few people on that. A few
clients
on that.
We're not going to talk about that tonight.
No.
I'm done with it.
No. But I did clear someone's cold for them. When they was on the day sniffles. We came on for our usual session, and I actually gave her that session on me. I said, "Look, I'm going to show you how it works." And I cleared 8 by the next week it had gone. So I thought it was fun.
I mean, I do get it that people will, because you've been told that you catch things, that when you go down with something you think you caught it, but we know, I mean, categorically 100% no one's ever going to tell me any different. I've done it, I've healed it myself, other people, and it's frightening. What frightens me is how this whole fake system is in place for these things, when actually, I mean, it's just, I don't want to talk about it.
No,
I don't really want to talk about it, but it's good to know that. You're talking about the Philippines.
Yeah.
I've noticed that we're getting a lot of foreign people watching our podcast.
You said that before we started. Frankfurt. Where do you say?
So we've had people from. So if you are listening, and I know you're listening, because I sort of have the stuff to let me know who sort of comes on and listens. But so the person in Amsterdam that's on it constantly, it's great, and we hope you enjoy it. There's also someone from Frankfurt that's on there just as much, so you'll know who you are. So we hope you're enjoying all the episodes as well. But we've had people from India, Slovenia, Slovakia, Russia.
Wow.
We've
it could be beauty.
America, a lot of people on
listening
from Washington. So we're actually getting quite a global audience.
That's good. That's right.
I'm not watching the lives on my Facebook.
No,
we're getting a lot of people.
You don't know what they're doing, but it's nice to know we get people watching, and people are starting to join from other countries and listen to our ramblings.
Yeah, we talk a lot of sense, and we talk a lot of shit at the same time.
Yeah,
I like. That's what I like.
You like a lot of sense and a lot of shit at the same time. Okay, so a lot of it's
Yeah.
A bit of sense mixed with bollocks. Yeah.
I'm not going to say.
No.
But yeah, so we're getting a lot of people listening to the podcast.
Good.
And it's really interesting. So I want to talk about the funniest thing I've seen or I've experienced this week.
Go on then.
Well, it wasn't this week; it was last week.
I
I'm going to tell lies. You
mustn't tell a lie.
No, I'm going to tell lies.
Bad boy.
Be an authentic street anyway.
Go on then.
But I was so I went into town, into my local town to go to buy some bread. Believe it or not, I just wanted to get out. Walked into town, went to get some bread, and on my way back to pick up my car, which I parked at the gym, I thought, I'll pop into Holland and Barrett and pick up the oils I have for my burners for when I'm treating with clients, so the room smells nice and stuff. So I've gone in there, I've walked in, grabbed about 5 boxes of this lemon oil, and as I'm walking down towards where they pay, there's one woman standing there paying, then 6 foot away at the end of this big glass thing is another girl, and then 6 foot behind was this guy just standing there. So I've walked up to join the queue, and there's nowhere for me to go. So I stood there, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm looking at this massive gap between this bloke and this guy. Bear in mind, it's only 2 weeks ago, so like all of this. And he's standing there with a mask on, standing 6 foot away. And I stood there, and I was like, well, I don't know where to go. I said, you all right, mate? He went, yeah, I'm all right. I said, what's the big gap all about then? And he went and he pointed to the floor, and he showed the social distancing sticker. And I went, I said, that's interesting, mate. I said, do you always do what a sticker tells you to do, like that? And he looked at me and he went, well, and he got all stroppy, and he's stropping it away. Well, you ain't going to get to the thing any quicker, are you? Blah, 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 with his mask on. And I thought, Jesus. So I just looked at him. We was just eyeballing each other, and I was just looking at him. And I went, do you know what, mate? I said, it's really, really sad what the TV's done to people, isn't it? And he's got his mask, and he's standing, and he goes, well, it hasn't done anything to me. And I'm like, well, there you go. That just goes to show how unbelievable people are completely oblivious to the fact that they have been completely mind-fucked by the telly, and they don't even recognise it.
Don't recognise it. No, he had no recollection of TV done anything to him. Standing there in a mask.
What? Standing with a mask, 6 foot away, looking at a sticker.
What to do.
Yeah, telling what a sticker. And then I said, it's a shame, innit? And he goes, well, it ain't affected me.
No. And
I'm like, looked at him, and I'm thinking, you're having a laugh, mate. I just burst into laughter.
People are very funny.
People are very funny.
They do the funniest things, people. They really, really do.
We've got a couple of people who have said hello. So I want to say hello to Jane Haycock, our good old loyal Jane.
Loyal Jane. She's very loyal, Jane.
Yeah, is she?
Yes.
I haven't met her. I know her.
So great story about Jane. So yeah, Jane came and seen me. Now her son, he's 16, 17. And he came to me a few months ago with an injury, and I get Jane and I got him to do a very basic DTO process on injuries. It works great for injuries and animals. So he started doing it, he fixed that injury, and now he's doing it on his other injuries. He's actually doing it himself. Before he was getting Jane to do it, his mum, but now he's doing it on his own injuries and healing his injuries quicker and faster because he plays football or rugby or something. So he's just doing basic DTO to speed up the healing of the injury, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And bear in mind, there's a 17-year-old kid. He's a very hip kid. He knows the language of hip kids.
I'm safe like love, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not. It's even worse than that. It's even worse than that now. I
need to hang out with some more teenagers and get up to date with the lingo.
Well, you want to join Joe Biden and people like that? Yeah, okay, brilliant. All right, okay. Yeah. You know what you said earlier about losing everything?
Yeah, I'm about to exactly.
Yeah.
You wouldn't leave me, mate. I'll switch that off. It won't happen.
It won't happen now. It's fine. No. So even if I wanted to go, I couldn't.
You couldn't. No.
So no, that's fascinating because 17-year-old, they don't think like that, but this kid's doing it and healing his injuries. So that's great. But Jane is a very loyal person.
Yeah.
And I've known Jane for how long, Jane? Over 10 years now. Her and her brother, John and Jane.
Jane and John.
Okay. John listens as well. Hi, John.
Hello, John. Hello, Jane. As well. Yes, great. And also my old school friend Sarah.
Hello, Sarah.
Back in, I went to school with Sarah. Lovely girl. I haven't seen her for donkey's years. So, hello, Sarah, and thank you for joining us. And good evening to you too. What do you want to talk about?
What do you want
to talk about? Because actually, ladies and gentlemen, this is a little bit of an ad hoc, lastminute.com thing.
Well, it's not. We have got a theme.
We have got a theme.
We have got a theme.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to talk about unicorns, but I won't.
No.
Only because they freak me out.
Yeah. Well, because
not really. I'm
just
baffled why people like them.
Because I've had a media blackout. I'm a little bit.
We've been waiting for a media blackout. We just didn't know it was going to be just you. We had no idea.
Honestly,
all the truthers out there say it's going to be a media blackout.
I know.
If they knew it was going to happen at Steve's, they may not have bothered saying it.
I just got to the point where, like you're like either preaching to the choir or people ain't listening because they're just mind fucked by the telly. And so I'm like, and also it was just starting to get me, it was starting to make me feel negative a little bit. And it's starting to have a negative effect on me. So I just thought, I know what I know. We said what we said. They either believe it or they don't. It's up to them.
It's time to move on.
Realistically, all I've got to talk about is me clearing my stuff and going to seeing Matey down the Holland and Barrett, which I thought highly funny. But
I know
the stuff in Canada.
Theme about being happy.
Yeah. The stuff in Canada's brilliant.
The truckers in Canada are brilliant. I love it. It's fantastic. Yeah.
I did see today on they've all getting a bit heavy-handed now with Trudeau.
Yeah, they've started arresting.
Do you know what I mean? Arresting the truckers and stuff.
Yeah.
But what's really funny is that now they've had a bit of a snowstorm in that water, and now all the people have built these massive snow walls in the road.
You were saying I haven't seen that yet. Which is brilliant. You couldn't write it, could you? It's just superb. Yeah. I will say I think that I'm starting to see humanity rise up now. I'm starting, it restores your faith in humanity. Because
I've said quite a lot. I've been losing faith in it a little bit. But.
Yeah. I regained my faith last year, and it's now starting to see that in the real world. But I've listened to some of the interviews of truckers because some reporters have actually been interviewing the truckers. Yeah. And they're just down to earth, grounded blokes. They're just like all people. I've only seen male truckers in fairness interview, but they're just like, no, we just want our freedom back. We just want our freedom. What's your problem? We want freedom. Yeah. What's your answer to that? Well, more tyranny. That actually points that out on Fox News. They said the truckers' whole thing is about freedom, and their response is more tyranny. It's like that makes that. Just give them their freedom. It'll be over.
What was you telling me earlier on about him?
What? Truckers or Ukraine and Russia?
No, about Trudeau.
Trudeau.
Yeah, you tell me about Trudeau.
I don't know. He's done loads things. He's gone into hiding. Then he came out. Then he announced that one of his he was rude to one of his politicians in Parliament. And then he started. Now he's trying to take away their money and get the police involved. I'm like, I know. I said he's literally made himself look stupid. Yeah. The whole world is literally looking at him, going, he's stupid. Yeah. I know. I said I don't understand why I don't just go in and cuff the cunt.
Yeah,
that's what I said. Yeah. I'll just arrest him. Arrest him. Chuck him in jail for treason. Yeah. And be done with it.
It does make. I mean, you look at the current leaders. You've got him. You've got Biden. You've got Boris. I mean, honestly,
they're very funny. I mean, obviously what's happening in Canada, what he's trying to do is not right, and what they've tried to do is not right. But they are making themselves look foolish. Yeah. Biden is now predicting when Putin's going to invade the Ukraine, and the Ukraine Prime Minister's sitting there going, "What are you talking about? It was and the media showed themselves up." So
the media have been showing themselves up for years, mate. No, everything they ever tell you is a load of bollocks.
Yeah, but they're really doing it now. They're really doing it now because Biden said that Russia was going to invade Ukraine on the 16th of this month. And then the Ukraine Prime Minister, I believe it was the Prime Minister, put out this quote saying, "We've heard we're going to be invaded on the 16th, but that's our Freedom Day. We're just going to be in the streets." And it was just a really general. It was a quote on a tweet or something, and it read really calm and relaxed. Yeah. But the whole media went, "Ukraine Prime Minister hears they're going to be invaded, and they're now preparing." That's not what he said. He didn't say that. And every news station, apart from Fox, every news station that I saw. About everyone. I saw about 3 of them. They all said exactly the same thing. I was like, what are you on?
I wonder how many people that watched the news, watched that, believed it, realised it didn't happen, and then didn't go, "Oh, do you know what?" and believed it, didn't happen, and then went back to the news the following night, listened to the next load of bullshit, and believed that. They've been doing it for years. People are actually mental.
It was just funny because they were just like trying to predict a war. And I'm like, what are you doing? Putin's even come out and said he's not going to invade. I mean, what? you're just mental.
Yeah, but they're trying really hard. They're trying really hard to create something, because I think that with the whole virus narrative, the whole from where I'm sitting is a lot of people now realise how much nonsense it is. More and more is coming out.
So many people
and I did say last month, I'd give it a couple of months, and I think we're going to see the beginning of it really happening on it very fast, and then everyone's going to be exposed to what they've done. I still maintain that. I've sort of had confirmation from that as well.
Yeah,
but
you have,
I have had confirmation. Yeah. But and it's not about me and you saying, "There you go, told you so, we were right." It's more about really it's exposing the amount of people and the amount of industries and areas of life that have been involved in this, and actually having that removed and changed, because it's got to go. Whatever, it has got to go, because what we know to be true, and then you've seen what effect it's had and what people have done regarding this whole thing. And I still maintain that when it all comes out, you're going to have 40 million very, very angry people who are going to lose their shit.
Yeah,
they are going to lose
have
it.
A few fighting people as well, because they've taken something that's bad for them.
Yeah,
believing there was something invisible out there was going to get them. So they took something that was going to make them better, and it hasn't made them better, and actually has got sick.
Yeah.
So someone I know, her brother is getting sicker by the day.
Yeah.
Because he took this vaccine.
Yeah.
And he's I don't know him, but apparently he's starting to worry about that now, because
I would.
Whereas before he was completely. He said to her outright, he said, "Oh, you don't believe in that load of rubbish, do you?" And he didn't believe her, and so he went ahead and got the vaccine, and now he's like freaking out.
We have tried to tell people.
I think it's sad. But no, I think that what we're seeing now is humanity rise up, and they're going to get a massive kick up the arse.
Yeah,
the elites from humanity, and they're not expecting it.
Yeah.
So good luck with that.
Yeah.
But no.
I mean, like I said, from the whole thing. I mean, the tests were fraudulent from the start. I've been saying that from the start, and I did say we're going to talk about it. But we'll leave it there because I think people are sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of it, and they're still trying to push it. I think but I don't know. I mean, be quite honest, I don't watch any news. I don't watch any media. I've learned that it's not healthy for you mentally. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your emotional health. It's not good for anything, because actually in anything that you listen to, you're hypnotized, you're brainwashed, you believe it, and then you believe that as a false reality. Because when you actually, like I do, because I don't watch that, I'm completely unaware of all of that. I don't really know what's going on in Ukraine. I don't really know if this is happening or that's happening. It's only what the fucking telly says. No one actually knows. And I've always said, if it's not your experience in life, it's just a belief. And the problem is that if you're watching fear porn all day, then you're going to be in a fearful state. And that's not really how I want to live my life. I want to live empowered. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel free. And I am. Regardless of everything that's going on, that's where I am, and because I can't change anything.
And if what you're looking at is affecting you in a negative way, then you really don't want to be looking at it.
Even if you're reacting to it angrily or anything, it's just not good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I only watch the funny things. I just watch things that make me laugh these days. Since about middle towards end of last year, I started laughing, and that made it much easier for me. I just find it amusing, so I keep track of what's going on. On the bits that I like, mainly American politics. I think it's funny. But everything else just makes me laugh because I just see the stupidity of it, and I see what's about. I can see from that what's going to happen next. Almost not. I know what's going to happen, but I can see it unfolding.
Intuitively. Yeah.
I can intuitively see it unfolding, and I've always had a faith that it was going to be okay. That ultimately we're going through this, and we're going to come out the other side. And as I said to you last year, I said everything the UK government have done since the beginning of 2021, they backtracked on. So I knew they always would, and they always have. To date since then. And I had faith in that, and I've just had this sort of it freaked me out. End of 2020, I was quite freaked out, I have to be honest. I was end of 2020, I was like, what the fuck?
Well, if you look what's going on in Austria, I mean, it's scary.
Yeah, there's a lot of scary things out there that are apparently happening.
But again, you didn't substantiate it. Yeah.
But you can't tell, you're only seeing videos, you don't know. But I do see humanity rising up. I do feel that it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I just see some of the funny things that politicians are doing and just go, well, you're mental.
Well, I'm seeing funny things that normal people are doing.
Oh yeah. I don't pay much attention to normal people anymore.
I know. I come out of the shop the other day and there was some guy in a Bentley with a fucking mask on.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? I'm like, what are you doing, mate? Are you what are you doing? I just don't. But I don't say anything to him.
Well, you can't, can you? Because they.
Well, no, because he's in his car.
His car and got a mask on. You want to chase him down the street going, hey.
Do you know what? 2 years ago, I probably would have
done that. Yeah. To begin with, you'd have woken him up. You'd have said, you know what, mate? Do you want to know about the cabal? Do you know about flat Earth? Do you want to know about this? What do
you want to know?
Yeah, exactly.
So Julie. So hello, Julie. Julesy.
Hello, Jules. You all right, darling?
Yes. All right, you two. Good to see you back. Yeah, thanks. It's so nice.
It's good to be back. It's good to be here. Good to be back. Good to be back. Yeah. Right at the front, right at the middle, right at the back.
Right at the back. Yeah. So anything else?
No, that's it really.
We're full of really informative.
We're really good today, aren't we? We've been away for a month and a bit, so it's new. No, I've been working hard getting that DTO Academy up, and this is actually the first announcement live that I've made of it. The other times I announced it, I was unconscious.
Did you ask for permission?
Did I ask for your permission? Yes. No, I didn't. I did send you a memo.
It's a bit assumptive.
I did. It's a bit assumptive. That's true. Yeah, I did send you a memo.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get it.
You didn't get the memo. No.
I didn't get the memo.
Well, that's not my fault. I sent it recorded delivery. Did you not know? Did you not receive it?
I was too busy hermiting up.
I was going to say exactly. Yeah, you were. No, so and I've been treating. I had an influx of new clients and consults and everything, and just treating different problems. I've had people come to me with really severe trauma, like really severe trauma. It always amazed me how the unconscious blocks things out. But I've been treating a lady for about 2.5 months on relationship issues, and we've been clearing the triggers with her current relationship and past relationships, and then all of a sudden she suddenly remembers a massive trauma that happened to her when she was about 19, 20, and that's obviously the root of it. But her unconscious completely
didn't want to talk about it.
Blocked it. She never told anyone. I was the first person she told. She even told her partner second to me because it had just come up, and just completely her unconscious blanked it. But I mean, it was the biggest trauma that anyone could ever go through, and literally it took us, I think, 2 weeks to clear it fully, and I worked with her about 2 times each week to get rid of it.
4 sessions.
I did, 4 or 5 sessions, and we got rid. It was a massive because we then had to go into how it's affected her life since. So we cleared the trauma in 2 or 3 sessions, and then we went into the other areas, the different areas of where it's affected her life. And I was as thorough as possible clearing it out. But then what came up, which always does, is she then felt guilty about not feeling bad about it, because she's in her head. She's like, well, I should now feel bad about this because it was a huge trauma. And so we switched up.
Feeling bad about not feeling bad.
Exactly. That's which is common. I said that's really common. That's what happens. But I was amazed at how, this was, I'm not going to say what it was, but it was just like the biggest thing you could possibly imagine. And for a woman to go through, and how the unconscious could forget that, I have absolutely no idea.
I know. I've had several like that. I've had several like that, and but mine was different. Mine, they didn't want to. I'm gonna say they didn't want to tell me I had to. And then once I'd got their trust after like their first, so I get their trust really quickly. I'm good like that. But after I got their trust after the first session, and they told me, it was really easy to clear. But so they didn't really forget about it and hide it from me. I've had a few people hide stuff from me, but I'm too intuitive, and I'm like, you're not telling me something. I know what it is, something I know, and they go, how do you know? I'm like, well, that's what I do. That's why I do what I do. But
I've had it before where somebody else was literally they weren't hiding, they just didn't remember it. They just literally blanked it.
Remember what?
But what?
I can't even remember what you're talking about.
I don't remember either. Let's move on. Joe Biden. No.
No, go on.
Russia. No. Russia. I've had another woman, and I was doing a training, and I treated this woman for a couple of months, and we cleared, the bit that was clearing. And I specifically asked her when we first started, have you had any abuse in your life? No. Anyway, she then decided to do one of the trainings, the DTO trainings, going back a couple of years now. and was online. I was using her as a guinea pig. Not a guinea pig. I was using her.
That's quite abusive.
That is quite abusive.
Yeah. You're only abusing your life. Exactly. No, would you like some? Be a
guinea pig. Here you go. Here, have my hand. Go. Walk on this wheel. You're not a hamster. Leave it alone.
They're doing DTO for pets now.
Exactly, yeah. No, I do DTO for pets.
I know, that was the point.
Yeah, that is the point.
God, dear, you're slowing the uptake tonight, my friend.
Well, it's been slow month.
It's been a long month.
Yeah, it's been a long month. And so I was just doing something normal, and all of a sudden I saw a face change. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's not normal. So she repped it. No, I didn't flicker. No, it wasn't David Icke.
Yeah, we know all about you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, so she wraps it all up, and we did. I used as a guinea pig. That's not right. I didn't use as a guinea pig. I just,
Why do you say trialist? It's a little bit more human.
Trialist. Yeah. No. And then afterwards, she called me and said, "Oh my God, this massive trauma's come up," and it was about being abused. Yeah. And I'm like, how can your unconscious? She'd completely forgotten. Yeah. And now I didn't actually ask for any questions about it for some reason. In that moment, her unconscious fired it off. Yeah, and she was okay. She wasn't traumatized. She was like a deer in headlights. She was like, it sort of threw her. We then went and switched it off and cleared it. Yeah. But it's really I can't comprehend. I can't comprehend the unconscious forgetting normal things, forgetting things that were. Upsetting.
Like putting the bins out on a Wednesday. I'm like, shit, I missed it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've heard your bin men complain about that quite a bit as well. Yeah. No, but things like from your childhood, little memories, traumas. Yeah, no, something that huge.
Because time's a great healer, Jonathan. Don't
forget that. Time's a very good healer. Yeah.
Fucking hell. Shoot that man who would come up with that.
Yeah, and if we're in bed by 10, it won't affect us. Yeah, it will. But how the unconscious blocks that out, I have absolutely no idea. That is quite incredible.
I would say it's guilt and shame. But I mean, the thing ultimately is that they used this in trauma-based mind control. So the whole MK Ultra thing that was set up by the CIA years ago, what they do is they traumatize the child lots of times. And what it does is the brain itself breaks into different compartments.
Yeah.
And then what happens is, so instead of it being like subconscious, conscious is as one, let's call it machine that's working together.
Yeah, part breaks off.
Yeah. What happens is a part breaks off and they store that information in that part, and then they'll do another one and it'll break it away. Now, what happens is so they think that they're free and whatever, and if they want to control the individual, what they'll do is they'll trigger the trauma.
They fire off that part.
And they'll fire off that part in their brain, and then now that's what now takes over, and they're pretty much under, that's what MK Ultra is. Yeah. And so even though that's being done to them on purpose, when we have things that happen in our life, I believe that that's what's actually going on. What the brain does to protect the experience.
Part can break off sometimes,
break off and
not
just,
always, but sometimes.
No, yeah, but we're talking about
like that.
Yeah, it will break away and it will hide it away, and it doesn't want to go there. And the problem is that does cause massive problems for people. But then it's good that lady or guy recognised that and it was able to bring it up. So again, another great side effect of switching stuff off.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no, it's a great. I mean, it it's like a filing system. You move one file, something else pops up.
Yeah.
And DTO is very good.
Do you have a filing system that pops up then?
I do have a filing system that pops up. Yeah,
mine sort of flicks through. Really, I don't really have a pop-up
mine's an inflatable pop-up system.
Really?
Filing system.
I want to see that.
Yeah. Well, that's what all the girls say.
Where'd you get that from, IKEA? Is it like a state-of-the-art filing system that you have?
No, it's homemade.
Is it?
It's a homemade one.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I know you're a magician, but that's pretty impressive, my friend.
A pop-up filing system.
Pop-up filing system.
You try saying that 5 times fast.
Who times fast?
Pop-up filing system. Pop-up filing system.
5 times fast.
I can't say it.
Laurie. Yeah, so that's really interesting. It is interesting, and most people don't realise that very few people go through life without trauma. And again, it's perception. It's a perceptional thing, isn't it? What trauma? Because you could have the most minuscule. I mean, I know through what I've worked with, some of the most tiniest instances in my life have actually had the most catastrophic effect.
Yes, tiny
especially when it
can have
trust,
effects, but I wouldn't class that as trauma.
When it comes to trust, some of the smallest little things, events that at that time happens that you perceive as a small event, actually the brain and the unconscious deals with that in a fucking massive way. I'm going to use that language because I've gone to a couple of that's popped up for me whilst clearing trust issues is that those tiny little events that have no relevance have actually caused me the most problems in times of trusting specifically myself, my intuition, and other people. But that was the perceptional thing. So, we talk about, not necessarily the big things that cause we normally think, well, I haven't really had much bad happen to me. It doesn't really work like that, to be perfectly honest. You can probably go through life without having any trauma, but still be seriously messed up because of your perception of an event and how you've reacted and responded to it and how you've stored that and what you've made it mean about you. I think it's important to realise that everybody needs to do the work. There's not one person out there that doesn't need it. I say this all along, but it's whether you want. If you're
important to do the work,
it's important to do the work because where you are currently right now will always be that way unless you go back and change stuff. Because the past programs, beliefs, and stuff that you've learned and installed unconsciously in your environment and what you've learned from the TV and all the rest of it formulates your identity, your belief systems. And so what you're having and experiencing now will continue over and over again. For example, what I was mentioning earlier on, I had a program which was really hardwired into me that whatever I get taken away. So at some point in my very, very, very early age, I was obviously given something by my parents. Because I was naughty, I had it taken away. And in that moment, my little child brain believed at that point that whatever I got given, I get taken away. Now, the problem is that from that instant, everything from that point to the current day, or up to the last few years, every time I've ever had anything, relationships, children, businesses, money, car, houses, you name it, I've lost it. I've had it taken away because of that unconscious program that was running in there. And so we've all got those running. So where you are right now, ultimately, and repeated patterns will continue to repeat unless you go and actually do the work and actually go back and actually change it. Not just go and do something to make you feel good, which
is a great away from the problem.
Is a great segue.
It is. That is a great segue into what we're talking about.
Talk about what we're talking about tonight. So
always, you're very good at segueing.
I was.
I've tried riding a segue. I fell off.
Segue, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Anyone think I'd have planned it?
Planned segue.
Planned the segue, yeah.
You could have done.
I could have done, yeah. So just want to say hello to Sue. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue.
What was that from?
I don't know. Why are you so camp? And why did I copy you?
Because you're camp as well. Because I was on a program, TV program.
I don't know.
Yeah, when I used to watch telly. And my auntie Hev over in Spain. Hello, we love you. We love you too. So and she likes my new track as well. I hope you liked my new track, ladies. I did put it out there. I think it's been the best one yet. A little bit of self promotion there.
If you go back and look at all of our podcasts, every track he's done has always been his best one.
This one is by far better. It's the best one. You're just jealous.
No, I listened to it. It was very good. I'm just jealous.
The best one?
What, the best one?
Yeah.
It's definitely his best one, yeah. Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm right then.
Well, I'm just saying.
You're trying to mock.
No. I'm trying to mock.
Yes,
I don't need to try. You make it so easy.
I know.
It just comes out.
It does come out.
Yeah, it's a simple segue.
Yeah,
it's mocking.
It's a mocking. Right. Yeah. And this week on Mock the John.
Yeah.
So it was a great segue because what we was talking about is the real meaning of self-love, self-respect, and why people pleasing gives you a false sense of happiness or purpose. And and going back to what I was just saying about having repetitive patterns of feeling crap or stuff happening, we get taught or told that to respect ourselves and to self-love is to go and have an experience, right?
Yes.
That'll be, I don't know, whatever your experience might be. I go and have a spa day, a pamper day. And all that basically does is a move away from the problem. So the problem exists unconsciously. It makes you feel in a certain way. And what we actually do is we then think, right, in order to love myself and feel good about myself, I need to do something external.
Yeah.
Right. So that, like I said, it might be a pamper day. It might be go and play golf. It might be go to the gym, whatever it is. But all of those things aren't really theoretically loving yourself. That's treating yourself. That's making yourself feel a little bit better temporarily.
Yeah, that's giving yourself a treat for doing something good, but it's not loving yourself.
It's not loving yourself. No,
it's rewarding yourself for doing something well. I encourage people to do that. When we do good things, reward yourself, because we don't do that.
Yeah.
But no, it's not loving yourself. No. And loving yourself, often when a lot of therapists say you just need to love yourself more. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
What does it mean to love yourself?
Yeah, and so I thought, because this has actually come up again through one of my marathon clearings that I had.
Yeah.
This was one of the things that come up, and it was so important because it's something that we do unconsciously. Because when we're in a state, when we're in an emotional state or a mental state, and we're not feeling good, what we don't realise is what it is that's making us feel not feeling good is the problem. So what we try and do is we go, well, I don't like that feeling. It's the pendulum. What we do is we push the pendulum to try and make ourselves feel good. And then what we'll do is we'll go and do our thing, our experience, we'll have a night out, we'll go and do whatever, we'll go to the spa, we'll go for a walk, we'll have a weekend away, whatever. And you go, oh, do you know what? I feel really, really good. But the ultimate problem is the thing that made you unhappy and it's causing a problem is still there. It's just that you've moved away from it.
Yes.
Temporarily. You've moved away from it, and it gives you a sense of relief and a false sense of happiness. Well, it's not a false sense of happiness. You are happy, but it is a false sense of happiness. And then what happens is that when you go back into the environment, you'll crash back potentially into that state again at some point. And this is what repetitive patterns do. And so the art of self-love would be to identify what that pattern or that program is in you that makes you act, behave, respond, feel, and then go and actually solve that. That would be loving yourself, because if you're not, what you're actually doing is you're just carrying a deep ingrained wound in yourself permanently, and that's not really loving yourself much.
Well, what it is by trying to avoid your feelings, so by avoiding how you feel about something, you are dismissing yourself. That's why you're not loving yourself. When you are ignoring a response in you, whether it's positive or negative, you are dismissing a part of you, and you don't like that. You don't want to dismiss that part in you. But you will pay attention to other people's feelings.
Yeah.
You'll listen to them, and you'll hear them and go, well, that's okay to feel like that.
Yeah, you empathise.
It's fine. You empathise with other people, maybe patronising like I just did.
It's because you're a patronising tosser.
I've heard that. I've heard that from a lot of people.
Aren't you, John?
I've heard I'm quite patronising. Obviously, I don't do that with my clients. I keep that covered up.
That's shit. It's terrible. I've had. No, go on.
Now, what do you want me to slap you? What?
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind. Can I choose where?
No, I'm going to take it away from you.
Shit.
Yeah,
now, go on, carry on.
No, so what we often listen to other people's emotions and thoughts, but we don't give our own emotions and thoughts the attention they require. Now, when I say that, I don't mean focus on them and really go into them and suffer with them. But if we don't pay attention to them, acknowledge them and do something about it, the reason that's we're not loving ourselves because we're not paying attention to that part of us. So then we feel unloved, and that's partly where that comes from.
Yeah, and also as well, unconsciously, what you're actually telling yourself is you're worthless. You're nothing. You're
ignoring yourself. Yeah, you're ignoring your feelings, and that is telling
you're not important. You don't matter. Everyone else is more important. Everyone else matters more than you. Yeah. So all your pain and suffering that you've had is irrelevant, because your mate that you've grown for 25 years, she's having a terrible time. So it's best go and do that and go and look after her, which is people pleasing. But what you're actually doing again is that it gives you a soul sense of happiness. It's on the pendulum thing. You're actually doing that thing. Yes, your friend might be in trouble, but you get a real good sense of happiness and purpose, which is a false sense of happiness and purpose for doing that. Now, I'm not saying that not helping your friend out, you shouldn't do that, but it's the intention behind it and the unconscious satisfaction or fulfillment you get from it.
Yeah, if you're doing something to get something back, you're doing it wrong. Like if you are loving someone to get love back, that's not loving someone.
It's contractual. Go back to the contract again.
Yeah, it's contractual. It's not unconditional.
Yes.
Now, obviously, you shouldn't put up with shit in your life, but
I do. Well, I've done for the last, I don't know how long you've been here.
About
2 hours, 3 hours,
4 hours. I can go. I mean, I can leave.
Can't. I told you I switched that off.
I switch it off. I can't do it. Make up your frigging mind. You either want me here or you want me to leave. What do you want? You're on a pendulum with it, aren't you?
Fucking both of them, actually.
You want both of them? I'll split myself in two.
Exactly.
Which half do you want? The left or my right side is my good side?
I don't care which side.
Okay, friend. So, but no, if you're doing something with somebody else to get them to do something back,
yeah, absolutely,
or you're putting that out, then you're never gonna. I had this conversation with a client literally earlier. They're trying to. They do everything for everybody else, but they don't feel they get it back. They don't feel they get it to the level back that they want. And it's
that's fundamentally the problem in the first place. You shouldn't be doing it to get anything back.
Exactly right. Exactly right. You shouldn't be. If you're getting, it's like for me. I had a learning early on when I lent people money. Okay, if I lend people money, I don't expect it back because you won't get it. So I learned that earlier. I mean, you do sometimes, but if you're going to lend money, don't lend it to get it back. Lend it as a gift.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. Because all that happens, you become resentful, you become bitter. You're like, why not person? And people fall out over money.
It's true. He still haven't given me that 500 quid.
No, exactly. No. No. What I did, I took it off your bill for all the sessions I've given you.
Okay. Yeah. He always brings that one up. And he's in preaching. He shouldn't do anything to get anything back.
No, I don't.
Hypocritical bastard.
I know. I'm such a fucking hypocrite. Naughty. But that's the point. If we do something to get something back or with an expectation without expressing the expectation to the other person, we then feel resentful and bitter and frustrated. Yeah. So we shouldn't be doing something to get something back. Likewise, though, if we are doing so many things, but we don't get anything back from anybody, there's one of two things running. Either we're running it and it's a conflict, or it's just the wrong person that you're with. You know, it's you're doing everything for everybody else, but you're not accepting it.
I think the problem that we have fundamentally is we're brought up that everything's a contract.
Yes.
Yeah, everything's contractual.
Yeah.
And the problem is that everyone behaves and acts in that way, and they don't realise they're not in a relationship. They're either in a codependency contract, and when one half of the contract doesn't fulfil the contract, then the other person feels like they're doing all this stuff and not getting anything back.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But and that's not just in relationships. That's also in everything. I mean, say it is relationships, but I don't mean marital or.
No, in every relationship, in every type of relationship, there are expectations placed upon people.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, with that people are human and they focus on their own things and
self.
You are programmed to look after yourself. It doesn't mean people are unkind or uncaring. It just means they've got their own shit running.
And I think that's why right now in my life is that a lot of people that have left my life that I no longer see or involved with, and I have all these new people in my life, is based on that fundamentally. That's why me and you are good mates, because I don't earn anything from you. I don't expect anything. And all the other people, Bob, and it was so many people. There's so many people that, are in my life. I just, I help them and they'll help me, but I don't doing it because they want something.
No, they're doing it because they want to help you. Yeah. And that's the way it should be. But you mentioned something interesting. There's an interesting loop that people have. So they'll do something for somebody. They won't receive anything back. And they will then call that person selfish.
Yeah.
Yet they don't realise that they want something back for doing that thing, and they're getting upset because they didn't get it back. So now who's being selfish?
Yeah.
It's actually a bit of an unconscious loop.
Yes.
And people don't and that loop exists in lots of areas, and they don't realise that's what they're actually doing. Their response about them is actually the same thing they're blaming the other person for.
Yeah.
We often do.
So within, so without.
Yeah. If you're wound up about something someone's doing, check where you're doing it in life, because there's a strong chance you're doing it in life.
Yeah. Well, it has to be going on inside of you for you to recognise it outside of you.
Exactly.
So whatever you get angry, frustrated, pissed off, annoyed about in other people is actually a behaviour that you have in you. That's why it's triggering.
That's why it's triggering you. Yeah. So if someone I knew ages ago used to get pissed off when her partner she used to interrupt her partner when he was with somebody else. But if someone came out to interrupted her with her partner, she'd get pissed off at that. Yeah. But she did it all the time to other people. She didn't mind doing that.
Yeah.
But so it's a very common thing. So people often ask me, well, how do you know what's wrong? One of the great ways to know what's wrong, what's bothering you, is look at what bothers you in other people.
Yes.
And it's a great diagnostic tool.
Yeah.
What's bothering me? Well, what other people do that piss me off? Just clear those things. Get rid of those things. As soon as you do that, then
it's like if you've got people that you hate liars, the chances are you're a liar.
Yes.
You're lying. Unconsciously, you're lying, or you'll tell stories, or you'll bend the truth,
or you're lying to yourself,
or you're lying to yourself.
I'm
all right. I know I'm fine. Yeah. I'm okay. No, I'm right.
Or you've lied in the past about something and you're just feeling guilty about it. Doesn't mean you're a permanent liar. It means you've lied in the past. Yeah. It means somewhere there's an energy of that running in you. If you get angry about selfish people, then chances are there's something in you that might be running that made you selfish, or you did something in the past where you felt selfish. And you feel guilty for that. So it doesn't mean you're totally like
you're acting selfish, but you're not aware of it.
Yeah,
because everything's unconscious. Like it's unconscious.
It's always unconscious. Yeah. So that's a good barometer of working out what's wrong with you by realizing and looking at what bothers you in other people.
Yeah.
So that whole people pleasing thing, that's just it's just you're wanting something back from someone, which is why you're doing it, which in itself is actually selfish, because you're not doing it for the other person, you're doing it to make yourself feel good.
Yeah,
that's not a way of.
It's great. It's a gratification.
Yeah, you're doing
it. You're getting gratified. It makes you feel good. Oh, I know a good person. I helped. Oh, do you not hear? I helped. So it's like them people on them videos that get filmed helping a homeless person.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that's not.
Why are you doing?
Why are you doing that?
No. If
you're not actually doing it to help the person, you think you are, but actually what you want to do is it makes you look good or feel good.
It makes you feel good. Yeah.
But it's actually the intention behind it is actually inherently disgusting and wrong.
It doesn't mean that you can't feel good doing things. That's not what we're saying.
No.
But if your intention is to do it just to feel good, now you've got a problem. If the intention is do it just so you feel like you're a good person, now you have a problem.
Yeah.
If you're doing it because you genuinely are just doing it to be a good person, that's or because you want to help, that's fine. But if there is an unconscious program, you're doing it because you want to be a good person, or you feel you're not, so you're trying to make up, then there's something wrong there. There was a great scene in Friends, if anyone remembers Friends. Joey pointed out that there are no selfless deeds, and Phoebe argued this point with him. So she did everything she possibly could to argue this point, and she ended up having something horrible happen to her. And she said, "Oh no, she then gave some money or did something that had no benefit to her at all." And then she went, "See, I've done this. Oh my God, I feel so good." And then she realized what happened.
Yeah.
Because she felt so good, she then realized there was no selfless deed.
Yeah.
It's not strictly like that, but and it's we're not saying you should do things for other people, because that's what life's about, but not to expect something in return.
Yeah.
If you're expecting something in return, or expecting that person to love you back, or for whatever reason, then you're messing it up.
Yeah.
You should do that good deed and walk away, not expecting anything in return.
And here's another thing as well. Sorry, were you going to say something else?
I was going to say, the only caveat to that is if you have a person in your life where you're always doing good deeds for that one person, and that person never reciprocates, now you have a problem. Stop doing good deeds to that person.
Yes.
But to do a good deed and expect something back is not the way of doing it. So, but if you are doing it to one person constantly, you're now a people pleaser. Yeah. You've now fallen into that people pleasing program, and you're trying to please them to get them to like you or love you or see how amazing you are or worship. I mean,
And the problem is that if we are constantly looking for validation and love from another person, it's because it's missing in us.
Yes,
it's missing in us, and the only way to get real love is to love yourself first.
Exactly.
You've got to love yourself first. If you're not loving yourself first, and when I say love yourself first, talking about the things that we're talking about, not avoiding your emotions, looking after yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, all of the stuff that we talk about, that's loving yourself. If you're not doing that, then you're never, ever going to really find love externally. What you'll find is contractual gratification.
The end.
That will end. Yeah.
Or what you'll do is you'll
blows up. Yeah, or what you'll do is you'll just stay in pain indefinitely because the other person treats you like shit, and you'll just put up with it because you've been taught you mustn't split up with someone, or you must ride it out and blah blah blah. But they'll reach a point where it goes beyond that, and you do really need to get out of it, because all you're actually doing is just being tortured, and again, that would be because you don't want to. It'll be about other people. It probably won't be about you. Or the fact is you don't actually love yourself, or you're missing love in you.
I have a client at the moment. She's doing a very similar thing. She's doing things for other people. Feels like she's not getting it back, and she feels very alone. But she doesn't like the alone feeling, so she tries to move away from the alone feeling and tries to get away from it
by trying to do more, probably.
Well, partly by trying to do more, but then trying to get away from the person that she believes affecting her. And or the types of people that affect her, and she's just creating herself over and over and over again by holding that alone feeling.
It as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's holding that alone feeling. While that alone feeling exists, she will always feel alone, no matter who she interacts with.
Yeah.
And no matter, Steve said, if you've got to love yourself first. It's the same for all emotion. If you don't feel supported, you've got to support yourself first.
Yeah.
If you don't feel nurtured, you've got to nurture yourself. Whatever the emotion is, you've got to go first in yourself before you get it from somebody else. It's not just love, it's every emotion. So if you feel alone, someone outside of you is always going to make you feel alone. You've got to feel whole and complete on your own before someone can come into your life and add to that.
Yeah.
So all emotions.
Because otherwise, you're just having somebody come in to make you feel good, and that only works for a small amount of time.
It won't last. It won't last very long at all. I have a client at the moment, and
that's why you want to leave.
That's why I want to go now. We've had some comments. What comments have we had?
Well, I don't know what that one means. From Jane, 15 and a half. There you go. So that's a good one. Thanks for that. 15 and a half.
That's how old her son is.
About my collar size.
Is that your collar size?
Yeah, it's 15 and a half. And then this is a great name. I don't know who this is, but Flumpy.
Flumpy?
Hello, Flumpy.
Hello,
I've never seen you.
Never heard of you before. But we love your name.
It's the best name.
I'd love to see the face on the passport officer who gets to read your passport.
Yeah. Flumpy.
So
I want to say a big shout out to Flumpy.
So Mr.
wherever
Flumpy,
you're from.
or Mrs. Flumpy.
What she said there.
What's your reason for coming to the country? Well, I'm going to visit the sweet shops. Well, no, I don't know.
You've gone off on a tangent there, young man.
I don't know where I'm going.
You don't.
No.
But Flumpy. I just want to keep saying it because
it's a great name.
Definitely see this in my behaviour, always pleasing others.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a common behaviour.
I mean, we've all done it from time to time. I remember doing it as a kid. I tried pleasing some of the magicians that I was when I was younger to get them to show me tricks. It's made me feel like shit.
Weirdly enough, I've actually just recently been doing that for somebody because I know that they're unhappy.
Been doing what? Pleasing them?
Yeah, trying to, you know what I mean?
Trying to make them happy.
Trying to make them unhappy. And I know, because I know what I know that I'm actually wasting my time doing that.
You are.
Right?
You are wasting your time.
Yeah, but I like this person.
That's
I like
fine.
him a lot, and I just
not me, is it?
No. Well, you'd know if it was you or not.
Would I know? I don't know.
I mean, so we do fall into it because it's just
Well, I think part of it is because we ultimately most human beings are good human beings. Most people want to do things for other people, and
unless they're in media or politics,
or government,
or in pharmaceuticals,
or law, which
yeah.
pretty much covers everybody, doesn't
yeah.
it? But
I'm an upright citizen. I'm a policeman.
Yes, but no,
don't do that, or I'll smash you over here with this kitchen, young man.
Yeah, don't protest peacefully.
Don't protest peacefully.
I will lock you in jail. No, but most people are kind, generous people, and we want to help. I think one of the problems we've been taught, certainly is a big problem with people, is that people don't want help, and so we've been programmed not to receive help.
And help is a weakness.
Help is a weakness, and help is bad. Yeah. So then the person tries to help, the other person doesn't want it because they perceive it as a weakness. Then that person gets not delusional, but they get disenchanted about helping people, and it goes round in circles.
Well, they will also tend to have this unconscious rejection.
Yes,
and that will then create a rejection conflict.
Well, it's like I learned
rejection conflict.
When I was a magician. Sometimes I would struggle with getting compliments. But
I'm not surprised actually.
Yeah,
you struggled on here and all, didn't you?
What, getting compliments? So I never fucking get any.
No, exactly.
Never give me any compliments.
You're running a compliment conflict.
Yeah, I am running a compliment.
Have you seen the pattern?
It's because I don't pay it to myself. That's what it is. I don't tell myself I'm a kind
person. They go, look at yourself and go, do what, Jonathan, I'm fucking amazing. I am. I really am.
Is that what you say in the mirror?
I don't.
Why don't you say it to yourself? You're Steve, aren't you?
I'm doing it for you, mate.
You're doing it for me.
I'm people pleasing.
Right, okay. I'm not receiving it, so it must be a block. Exactly. I don't know you're doing it.
Exactly, because you've got a conflict receiving compliments. You're never going to get them.
No, I'm never getting it, right. No, so what the fuck was I saying? Oh, yeah, parties. So when I was a magician, people paid me compliments. But to begin with, in the early years, I never really accepted it. I wasn't rude, but I struggled. What I realised is that by not acknowledging that and saying just thank you, that's really kind, I was actually kind of rejecting them.
Yes, rejection.
Because they would pay me a compliment based on what I'd done. It wasn't a false compliment. It was after I'd done the show. But I would turn up and people would look at me up and down here to go, who we got here? Because I didn't necessarily... I like to test people. I like to test the theory that what you wear...
first impressions.
Yeah. And sometimes I'd wear things on purpose just to stimulate first impression. Yeah. And then afterwards they'd forget all about my clothes and oh my god, it was amazing, that show was brilliant, fantastic, can you do it again? So I was doing to kind of test that social
context
scenario.
Over content, my friend.
Exactly. But at the end, when they paid me a compliment, sometimes I would dismiss it, not on purpose, not badly, but I wouldn't receive it. Yeah. And I realised I was actually just rejecting them by doing that. Yeah. And obviously, they generally meant that compliment. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said it. So,
but did that reveal to you that you had a rejection thing going on inside of you that needed to be resolved?
I had a hard time accepting positive things. Yeah. So yes, in that effect, I was rejecting myself. Yeah. Obviously, once I then changed my behaviour and I started saying thank you, that's really kind. That sort of resolved that because I changed the behaviour what I was doing.
I notice a lot of people when you sometimes give them compliments or pay them or give them compliments, they can attack you. They can get anxious and attack.
They get anxious. They attack you back because they're not used. Because there's a program in there.
No, I'm not.
Compliment. Exactly. What are you talking about? You know.
Or they think you're trying to get something from them, so they go straightly on the defensive.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like very strange behaviour.
When you.
But again, we are programmed that because a lot of people use compliments to deceive and to befriend you and that. So that's right. It's very difficult in a very inauthentic world to know whether there's a genuine compliment or whether there's a hidden agenda behind the compliment.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, I mean that can be the case. But
I still think you need to take the compliment nonetheless.
You should just take the compliment. Yeah. If it's then followed by baby, look beautiful tonight. Can you give me a blowjob? Then you know that's
seriously. Of all of the analogies,
there was the one that came into my mind. Clearly tells where my head is. Or no.
Well, a lot of blokes will do. So I cooked dinner tonight, so I
want something back. Exactly. So that's not going to make you feel really good. Equally, like if your boss said, hope your boss doesn't say that to you, but if your boss says,
I cooked your dinner tonight.
Yeah, I cooked your dinner. I cooked dinner tonight, Dave.
I used to cook some of my staff dinners, and it was fucking good. They loved it.
Did it?
They used to say, can we come back around yours? I used to have like little dinner parties for like all my top salespeople, and they used to come around. I used to spoil them. I used to stand in the kitchen for like 4 hours cooking them, buying all the food, cooking for them, treating them, and that.
And then did you feel good or bad afterwards?
Knackered.
You was knackered afterwards.
Fucking knackered. We try and do a 3-course meal for like 12 people.
No, thank you. I'm not a chef. I can barely do baked beans on toast.
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean you know?
I used to love it.
I don't know that.
I do. I had to film myself cooking an omelette. I had to stand here later when I actually set up my phone, filmed myself cooking one of my omelettes.
One of his omelettes, yeah.
Right?
Because I didn't know how to cook an omelette.
Cook an omelette. So I filmed it and then I sent it to him so he could watch it and copy what I did. I actually give him instructions now. What you do now, John, is do this first and then put this in there and do this and do that. Well, it was like my own Jamie Oliver show here. It was.
Well, because I've got my girlfriend, I've learned I couldn't cook, so I've started learning to cook certain things for my girlfriend because she works late and comes home, and I would just have I'm not really if anyone knows me, most people say I eat.
If anyone knows you only eat about 4 things, mate. Sweet and sour chicken and rice, sweet and sour chicken, and I think you also eat rice as well, don't you?
I have the mushrooms as well. Yeah, no, but I'm not what people say called a healthy eater, if you like. I have a balance. I don't eat or just crap all the time. I love my chocolate. I have Chinese.
Which we're going to have in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not I like juices as well, don't get me wrong. But I was never a big cook and cook fresh meals. Steve's a great cook and cook fresh meals from scratch. Brilliant. So I've learned to cook nice.
Just a good. I'm an exemplary cook, actually.
You're exemplary. Are you looking for a compliment?
I'm complimenting yourself.
Self-love. Self-love. I think he's crossed over into arrogance, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe.
There is a borderline between self-love and arrogance, which we haven't quite come across
maybe do a podcast on that next week.
Yeah, we could do that. That's the next podcast. How to tell the difference between loving yourself and being a complete dick.
Laura, who was the girl that I was, the mother of Reuben.
The mother of Reuben, the girl. Her indoors.
She's even put Steve is master chef.
Steve is a master chef.
Yeah.
And he does very good cook. He makes amazing pizza.
And omelettes.
Yeah. He's very good at lots of things. But so I can't remember what the point of this.
I had mental health problems and quite good at that.
What was the point of this conversation?
I don't know. I don't even know where we've
gone off on a tangent now. But the point is that if you're feeling negative emotion, you're trying to run away from it. Stop. No. The emotion is not going to kill you,
and it's not going to. And by running away from it, will not solve the problem. It will be there indefinitely. That's a bit like having a knife, being stabbed with a knife, and keeping the wound for the rest of your life,
and trying to run
away from the pain. But the pain's going to come with you. And secondly, what you're actually going to do is go, do you know what? This really, really hurts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some painkillers. That will solve the problem.
Solve the problem. Yeah.
That'll solve the problem. I feel so much better now, but you've still got the knife in there.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen is you'll go. So the painkillers being the spa day or whatever, and then the painkillers will work. The spa day will work, and then what will happen is that when you come back from the spa day and the painkillers wear off, the pain's there again. So you go, I need to feel good about it. And
rather than just dealing with a knife.
Rather than just actually removing the knife.
Yeah,
removing it, and that's removing in a different way, is removing the thing that's created the pain, the hurt, the stuff inside. And we also say these things don't only cause mental stuff, but it also causes physical pain.
Physical pain, yeah, all the time.
Back pain, shoulder pain. When you switch off a trauma or a belief, the pains just disappear. So even some of your physical ailments, and your sicknesses and your illnesses, and yes, you might get a cold and you might catch it, might feel like you've got a virus. They are all fundamentally being caused by something that's going on internally.
Yeah, I mean, I had a guy come and see me recently, and this guy's a typical Londoner.
Well, you're not proper Londoner, so he's a proper son.
In his 60s, very successful, but got a lot of pain. Misdiagnosed over years, finally got diagnosis, tried everything, even tried CBD oil recently, and that didn't work for him. And
it's because you're taking something.
Well, no, for whatever reason, doesn't matter. But now got to the point where he's desperate, and he comes to see me, and he has to come to see me. I know, yeah. I was looking for love. I've got it.
I bet you solved his problems.
Well, no, not completely. But the point is, in the consultation, I sat him down and I fed in all the conflicts, and he went, "That is my life right there." I didn't say what happened to him. I said, "These are conflicts for the symptoms you're presenting," and he went, "That you've just," because I said to him, "Look," because I didn't know how open he was. He was just coming for consultation. I said, "This is how I look at it. These are the traumas that would cause your problems, but I don't know how you're open to you after that." And he went, "You've just described my whole life," and he was like, hooked.
Yeah.
And then he came back for a clearing, we did a clearing, and he walked in like he was, had a war wound, and walked out like he was normal again. Obviously he's got a lot of work to do, but he got an incredible result. But you literally can describe someone's life by understanding what symptom they've got. There's no way you could do that otherwise. I'm not psychic. I'm septic maybe, but I'm not psychic.
No, you're a doctor in MASH.
I'm a doctor in MASH.
They walk in with a war wound and walk
out again. Yeah. I'd rather be Hawkeye, to be honest. Hawkeye was a doctor. I loved Hawkeye. It was brilliant. Yeah.
I'll tell you that, Reacher. You've got to go and watch that, guys and girls.
The TV show Reacher. I love the movies, but the TV show Reacher is excellent. Yeah,
my little gaps in between doing all the work, I've actually given myself a little bit of TV. So Reacher. Oh my God.
Yeah, me and Emma have been watching that. It's very good.
Brilliant.
I haven't got to the end of it, so don't message me and spoil it.
Most people say, they go, "Do you know what? Actually, I'm watching this podcast. I go, do you know what? I think I better message John and tell him how it ends."
You know what, the podcast? Yeah. How are they going to know how the podcast ends? That'd be brilliant if they sat down 24 hours before we did the podcast and went, "I'm going to tell John how the podcast ends."
That'd be more freaky than what's happened in the last 2 weeks.
I was going to say, that freaked me out. Something chronic. I'll be like, "Whoa, what's going on? You really are psychic."
You know why they'll do that though? They're only doing it to people, please.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
They just want to get someone back.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll probably just say, "We predict how it ends." You're going to say, "It's good night from me, it's good night from him, good night."
And that'll be over.
No, please don't tell me how the podcast ends, just to people, please. Because I quite frankly, I like to be surprised.
Yeah, I like it too.
Just leave it on that note. Anyway, it's a good program. Yes, it is a good program. So, do we have anything else to say about the whole people pleasing and the loving yourself?
Well, it's all it really is because it gives you a false sense of happiness.
Oh, the people pleasing.
Yeah, it gives you a false sense of happiness. You're not actually really happy. You're just getting gratification. Happiness is an inner thing, not an external thing. And so if you're finding yourself constantly doing things for other people because it makes you feel happy, it's a false happiness. Yeah. Regardless of whether you're probably, "Oh, no, don't." You can do that as much as you like. The fact and the truth of the matter is, it's a false happiness. And you'll need to keep doing it over and over and over again to get that feeling. And what there was something you were saying earlier on about that woman, the lady. One of the things that I was going to write down is that sometimes when we're constantly trying to get validation from somebody else, that might be a friend, a co-worker, or a partner, and then we're not getting the thing that we want, we try and do more.
Yes.
We try and do more. Then we keep going overboard and we keep doing more and more and more and more and more. And then we drive ourselves mental because it doesn't matter what you do, you can't get the thing that you want.
No.
And if you're doing that, stop it, because it's going to destroy you and it will really, really screw you up, and it will leave you feeling broken, unloved, worthless, that you can't do anything right. It creates so many problems in your life. I experienced that many, many years ago. It didn't matter what I did, no matter how much love I gave a person, it wouldn't come back.
If the person won't receive love, it doesn't matter what you do. You could be the best person in the world, they're not going to fucking receive love because it's not in it's been blocked. There's a wall up. They won't take it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, for some reason, so many people have shame for feeling love or showing love. They're embarrassed about it, and I don't get it. It's a bit strange.
I mean, I'm an ex-entertainer, so we're all about hugging and cuddling and things like that, and which is so when I was younger, I was actually quite embarrassed about.
But I do see it. I mean, I went through it.
Yeah.
Before I started doing this, I went through that.
Yeah.
I went through that because of the amount of rejection I had in the past. Made me feel so fucking worthless. That person made me feel so fucking worthless that in the end I was empty inside. I just had nothing for myself. And then when people did try and show me affection and love, it made me feel it triggered all of that shitty feeling, and then I would push it away, and I didn't want it. Yeah. I'd make an excuse, and I found it very, very difficult. Now I don't have that now, obviously, but I did a lot of work on that because that was my experience. Now I'm only talking from my experience, and maybe not many people have that, but I do see it a lot. I do see people getting bent out of shape and rejecting that. But then trying to compensate it by then doing something for you because they feel guilty.
They feel guilty about it.
What
exactly,
I mean?
So,
but doing more. We'd keep on doing more for somebody. Keep doing more. It's not enough. You're not enough, and that's what's driving your not enough response in you. If you're feeling that you're not enough because you keep trying to do something for somebody that you're not getting it back.
Yeah,
but again, that's a contract also.
But it's very hard to see that. It's very hard to the unconscious wants to blame the other person for why they're not giving it back to you. They want to blame the other people. Well, they're not giving it back. How is changing that feeling gonna change it? Change that feeling is not going to make any difference. This is what I hear people say to me. Yeah. It's not going to make any difference. Change the feeling. It's not going to change the other person's response. No, actually, it fucking does.
Yeah, it does.
No,
Every time.
Changing your internal response will actually change the external world. So, and I'll give you an example.
People don't get that.
They struggle to grasp it. I've got a client in Australia that I treat, and I treat him for business blocks mainly. And he'll come on and
you get me an office then?
Yes, what in Australia? Yeah. Not at the moment. He's not been vaccinated.
Good job.
That was a good job. I was going to say, you wouldn't be here long.
To be quite honest.
I cleared him out recently, and all of a sudden, law of attraction worked really, really quickly. And he's messaging me going, "Oh my god, everything that I wanted has now just come to me."
Yeah.
But his blocks about his business were in his head factual. His beliefs were like, what's a fact?
Well, of course it is, because it's all coming from the logical brain.
Exactly.
Making up shit.
But this is what people do. They think that something that they believe is true is a fact, like the sky is blue. Well, the sky's not always blue. Sometimes it's red. So it's not really a fact, is it? But even if it is a fact, like, I know the grass is green or this hat is white, it doesn't matter whether it's a fact or not. It's only how you feel about the fact or how you feel about the belief.
Perception.
It's a perception.
Yes.
And when you remove the feeling, the universe always heals, almost instantaneously.
Yeah, I can guarantee
and the people and the world literally change around you like magic. Yeah. And it happens every time. As long as you get the right thing, bam, it instantly changes. Yeah. And
I can guarantee that because I've experienced it myself over and over.
And I've done it all the time.
But I've done it for other people, and they've experienced that as well.
Yeah. But so when we say it's important to clear, it's important to clear so you get the things you want the right way, not by trying to get it externally all the time. Yeah. And, we talk about law of attraction. We talk about like physical things like money and a relationship, but it goes the same for love and affection and kindness.
Forever.
So if you're...
Whatever you're missing, whatever you want in your life that you've got missing, so whatever it is you want that's missing in your life, there is an unconscious program or a belief that's stopping you from having it. It's really that simple. Switch off the behavior or switch off the problem or switch off the response or switch off the belief. And very quickly, the thing that you want appears in your life.
Yes, precisely. You will start attracting more of everything you want, but you'll attract the things that you actually want, not the things you don't really want, you just think you want.
Yeah.
And that's really important as well. A lot of times we think we know what's going to make us happy, and then we get that thing and we're just miserable.
Yeah.
Because happiness,
that's paper chasing.
You're just chasing something outside of you.
After the next, after the next, after the next. And before you know it, you've accumulated all this stuff and you're still fucking unhappy.
Yeah. And often the reason we are unhappy or the reason we don't love ourselves is because we either feel alone or we feel guilt and shame.
Or we have a belief that having things, materials and money is what gives us happiness.
Now, where could we have got that from?
Truth. It's a fact.
But they teach you that in the media all the time.
It's an external thing that gives you a false sense of happiness and gratification because actually when you think about it, don't really make you happy at all.
No.
It might make you feel secure and safe, but don't make you happy.
No. Actually, the less things you have, the happier you're going to be. Believe it or not.
Really?
I'm not. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not Klaus Schwab. But actually, by adding more things, I keep saying this to people. If you keep adding things to your life all the time, you're going to be fucking miserable because you'll be doing everything all at once and getting
no help and
nothing. Yeah. And people just don't get it. So they keep adding more and more things to their life that they don't enjoy, they don't want to do, but they think it's the right thing to do. They've got to achieve things in life. That's a big thing of it. People really think they must achieve things. And actually, we're not here to necessarily achieve things. We're here for others.
Yeah, we are here for others. But here's the other thing. We're also here to learn.
We're here to learn and grow.
And when we're not doing the work and we don't learn, we think that holding on to our stuff. I had this conversation with someone New Year's Eve. They said, no, I don't agree with what you do because all the stuff that you have, you learn from it. And I'm like, no, completely the opposite.
You don't learn from it.
It's completely opposite. What you're actually holding on to is the negative shit in your life that you'll keep making over and over again. You don't learn fuck all from holding on to your stuff. When you actually switch it off and clear the very last response, all of a sudden, the learning that you have from the experience just go, bing, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then you learn from it.
And you get it. You understand, you learn, you move forward, you grow. You cannot learn from a negative response. Yeah. It's not possible. Yeah. It's not possible to learn from fear or anger because it's a fight and flight state. There is no creativity or learning in fight and flight. Yeah. It's just get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And then what you're going to do is you're going to move away from it and then you'll go into the logical brain. You'll try and understand it. And as I always say, you're just going to make up shit. Believe the shit you make up and validate the thing that you've made up because it feels right because you don't want to feel the pain.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Good. Well, on that note.
Yeah, what a lovely note to end up.
It was a lovely note. Was it like a middle C?
I don't know.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Sausages.
Wolves.
Right. No, I don't know. I think I'm done for tonight.
Are you done for tonight? Really?
I think I am.
I did that at Kids Play once. This little kid came up to me. He must be about 4 years old. He was in the break. He had a little sausage on a cocktail stick, and he went, sausage. And I went, wolves. And he went, sausage. I went, wolves. We did that for about a minute. He had absolutely no idea what I was talking about, but I was wetting myself.
He was 4 years old and holding the sausage on a cocktail stick.
Yeah, it what?
Yeah.
I was waiting. I was in hysterics. I thought it was very funny. Of course, you had to be there, but I thought it was very funny. Yeah. Another one.
Do you know what would have been funny is watching you having a conversation with a 4-year-old kid with a fucking sausage on a cocktail stick.
Well, when I
observed that.
When I was a magician, most of my conversations were with 4-year-old kids. What about sausage?
I'd have Epstein, Jack.
You've Epstein, mate. Or Weinstein. Brilliant. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. I wanted to make clear.
What's this dodgy magician? I'm telling
he's a bit dodgy. Yeah. No. So I was trying to amuse myself with silly things like that.
Yeah. I know, I've known you quite a while now.
Yeah. Well, there was another party I went to, and as soon as I walked in, I took my equipment in, and the little birthday girl came up to me, said, I'm 4 today, and I've got 4 candles. I went, 4 candles?
No, I don't.
No, and I did that, and the adults wet themselves, but she obviously had no idea.
All right, just glazed over.
She just glazed over and went, 4 candles.
This man's a bit mad.
Yeah.
You traumatized her?
No, I didn't traumatize. She had a great party.
I love the fact that in like maybe 2 years' time, you're going to get this girl turn up and go, Yeah, I just want to come for a session. Right. Well, I think, well, when I was 4, I remember I was having this party and this weird magician
showed up and started talking about 4 candles.
And I've been struggling ever since.
It was about, must have been years ago now, because she must be at least a teenager now. So there's a chance someone should constantly for therapy. Yeah. But yeah, it was very funny. I don't know why I sidetracked onto that, but anyway,
that was interesting.
It was interesting. We had a comment.
Really
What's the comment?
Jane, thank you both for another great podcast. Oh, thank you very much, Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
Laura's said thanks, guys. Was that an old advert? Sausage advert? Yeah, it was.
It was an old advert, wasn't it? That's going back a bit. I can't remember. Yeah. I can't remember, but it always makes me chuckle. It was a Walls advert. It was Walls sausages. Yeah. Always makes me chuckle thinking about that.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Very easily pleased.
You are.
I am very easily pleased.
Very easily.
You asked my girlfriend.
You was easily pleased with a little cocktail stick and sausage. So
I would be.
You're pleased by that.
Oh, I love cheese and pineapple on a cocktail stick as well. Obviously, you can't do.
I think you've got a cocktail stick fetish here. Anything on a cocktail stick, anything on a cocktail stick, he'll have it. John's putting claim on it. That's mine.
I want to say not anything on a cocktail stick. I mean, I don't want to poo on a cocktail stick. I mean, that's not going to be.
I've got some of those in the fridge.
What, poo?
Just to try you out.
In which case, I'm leaving.
Right, this is getting a little bit hanging below.
It's gone out of hand. Anyway, so I'm going to say good night on that note.
Yeah, I'm going to say good night as well.
Are you coming with me?
Yeah, we're going to leave together.
So if I say good night and you stay, that'd be really weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for joining us this evening of this very impromptu Inside Out Effect podcast. And we hope that the information that we divulge tonight helps you. It will reveal something that may help you in your future, may identify a behaviour, a habit, or whatever that you can now look at, realise that's happening, and address it. And if you need help, you can always contact Jonathan, who's very busy at the moment. But he's on. You can contact him on thedtosystem.com, or you can contact me. I'm not so busy at the moment because I've been doing lots of my own work. Because obviously this is what I do, so it's best to do it myself.
You do it yourself.
Proves it works. I'm doing it on myself.
That's right.
But you can contact me on healingthemind.co.uk, or you can find all of our information on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and the Inside Out Effect Facebook page as well.
Yes, you can.
So we're going to leave that now for tonight, and we again thank you for joining us. We'll be back. I would say in a couple of weeks' time, but it might be another month. It could be 6 weeks.
No, hopefully another week's time.
Yeah,
we're trying to keep you on your toes. That's all it is.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks again for joining us. So my name's been Steve Jakes, and I wish you all a very good night and a happy fortnight.
Yep, and we'll speak to you real soon, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye.